um, so this project today, it seems like the camera seems to be acting weird towards the black and white. Sorry about that. It's vibrating. But this project, these are little craft sticks that I bought at Walmart. They're little quart paint sticks. I had a whole stack of them, but I was trying to think of what to do with them other than just paint, using them to paint for painting. And I actually thought about different ways to do it, and I started to do like bracelets. I mean, I'll tell you about how I did how I curved these. I started to do fun things like that, but then I thought, well, what do I do? So then I thought garden markers would be fun, but I don't have a garden, so I have kind of a brown thumb actually. So what I thought, these could be garden markers, but there also could be other things. You can make them into a bookmark, this one is, I mean, I think they're going to make great bookmarks. So what they are of course, the base is the little stick. And this one, on this one, I want to let you know, I was going to glue this on. This is also made with these sticks. What I did was I cut the edges off and sanded them, and I made a little sign. It was really easy. So now I can put, I'll be able to glue these on. Actually, I wanted to change these up a little, so I didn't permanently glue them down. But you could just do so many things with these sticks. You can make them for your grandkids, Leah, or in the family, they can mark their table, like a table place setting. There's just so many things you can do. So I'll show you how I made them. So I'm just gonna I'll tell you the supplies a little bit. So the supplies, of course, are the craft sticks. And if you paint on them plain, they actually so it just doesn't work out so well. You need to coat them with something. Like this is clear gesso I used. This stuff here, it's just a translucent gesso. So you can see the wood grain, which is kind of cool. If you don't want to see the wood grain, you can just paint it with like a ceram coat, any craft paint like this. Inexpensive craft paint works really well. And you want to coat them. That's important because what you're going to use is you're going to use paint, you're going to use markers. These are permanent markers. If you have a Sharpie, that's fine. A fine point Sharpie, or you can use little markers like these. These are Posca. These are what are these? Acrylic markers. These are permanent as well. If you use a marker that bleeds or doesn't stay permanent, it will wipe off these sticks. So you want something that's going to be permanent on a painted surface. So those are fun. And the most fun part is if you know about what washi tape is. I have quite a collection. I have more than this. This is just a small amount. But washi tape comes in so many patterns, and it's so much fun. So we're going to make, so you can see these little outfits are made with washi tape. So we're going to make the little outfits with washi tape first. Let me just take that little tape off the back. And what's neat about these is you can personalize them in so many ways. So let's say like this one, you just put the washi tape on first, and then I draw a very simple head and simple legs. And then you can put things on the back, like on this one. I also was able to write with my pen in washi tape. And so if you don't want to do a person, you can do a collage as well on these. If you do want to use these as garden markers, you can take a magazine, let's say a magazine page, and I'm thinking of you in your garden. You could put a picture of peas and squash and just a collage, a piece of, just an image on there, and then maybe decorate it with the tape and then write what it is. So just fun things you can do. It doesn't have to go in the garden, but if you have a garden, that's even better. You can put them in the garden. So I'm going to just show you how I did it. And what inspired me about my friends is I have fun friends, and we kind of have a little theme for each other. So in this one, I think somebody might guess which this one might be. It's going to be kind of a mermaid sort of theme. And I wish I had like little shells or something like that, but I don't. So what you need to do is you start with your outfit. And it's going to be, I'm just going to start right here. I'm going to make this really pretty. I'm just going to lay the washi tape right on it. I'm going to use a pair of scissors. Just going to trim around on the side like that. And I'm just going to push it down and then bring it around the side of these. And I'll tell you, I had so much fun with these. I've been making them for the past couple days. And I just find myself lost in it. It's just so much fun. And I have like different little designs that you could use. Like this is a really pretty one with the washi tape. You can just pick different kinds of washi tape for whatever designs you want. This one's kind of cool. It's got lots of blue in it. And some washi tapes, when you buy them, it's hard to find that because they're so thin. Like I'm having a hard time finding the edge, but I will eventually. There it is. So this is a really beautiful picture, a beautiful pattern. I'm just going to put it on the, I'm just going to put it out, just put a few layers down.
I ask,
Hello.
is it automatically sticky on the back?
It is. It's washi tape has a stick on the back. Thanks, Leah, for asking.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll mute back again now.
Yes. It's sticky on the back, but it's kind of a low tack. It doesn't have a lot of sticky, but it works really well. So you can reposition it and move it around. And you can get this stuff at Walmart. It's really fun stuff. And you can not only use it for this kind of thing, there's so many different things you can use it for. I'm so glad I have it, and that's kind of why I've amassed a large collection. They work great in books and journals because they won't tear the paper underneath. So it's a very nice low tack adhesive, and it's just fun to work with. So I've got this little theme going here. It looks like a little outfit, kind of. But I can add other things, like if I wanted to put a little metallic sort of a belt, I can use this blue, or I can make it, well, oh, that looks really pretty. So this is fun. You just get to dress them up. You're making a doll, basically. And I saw this on Pinterest the other day, and I was looking for craft stick, things to do with craft sticks, because the garden thing, I don't know. I want to do something a little more fun, a little more involved, and I found this, and I thought it was so cool. So I kind of think I've got my design the way I like as far as the outfit. So this is going to be kind of a short outfit. If I want to add a little trim, you can just take thinner pieces like this. Like this stuff you can buy it on Amazon too. It's really pretty cool. So I've got a little small piece there just to give it a little glimmer, a little glitz. I'm just going to put it around like that. So there. So then once you really get it down, just kind of burnish it down with your fingers, just to get it really on there. Now, so I've got this. Now, normally I would do legs or little socks like in here, which are fun. These are really easy to draw on, but I'm going to do something different, and I'm just going to try it. This will be the first time I've done it, but you can use these I can actually post these as a model. I'll keep these up on the website, and then you can see kind of as a way to make these. But to make the head, I'll start with that really quickly. I'll do the head, and I'm just going to start with the hair. So I'm just going to do someone I know. So I'm going to make the person have bangs, and you can just kind of decide how you want it. And the person's going to have long hair. Just simple like that. Very simple. And then I'm going to make a little neck, just kind of maybe in sort of an oval shape for the face. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just an oval shape. And a neck. There we go. So now I've got hair, I've got a face, and I'm going to do something different down here because normally I would make the legs, but this time I'm going to try something different. Why not? It's my little stick. So I'm just going to do something that I'm just going to draw kind of a mermaid shape. And you know why, right, Leah? Yeah. So I've just made a little mermaid tail. And then I'll do scales and all that. I think I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger, but so that you can just have fun with this. There we are. She's like that. So then this, now with what I'll do with this, that's the basis of this. She's a person, kind of a mermaid shape. And now what you do is you take, and what was nice about this is you can see that the line came out very sharp, nice, and came out really clean. And that's because I gessoed it or painted it first. I tried one yesterday and it came out really blurry everywhere. That's because it just never really glossed up the way I wanted it to. And that's because I didn't prime it first. So that I just want to make sure when you do these, you want to prime your canvas. So now this is the fun part. This is where you take paint. Now this is called coral, and it's actually kind of makes a really nice flesh tone. This is at Walmart. Oh no, this is a Michael's paint, I think. And now you notice how thick that comes out. Some of these craft paints come out a little too thick for my taste. I just think they need to be a little bit thinner. So I've got this stuff, it's this Liquitex pouring medium. You don't need to, you can use water too, but what I like about it is it just gives it a little, gives it a nice creamy texture and a lot easier to work with. And I'm going to also mix it with a little vanilla. This is a vanilla paint. Just kind of create kind of a skin tone. And you can change your skin tones, of course, to any. You could make them lighter and darker, but this coral works really great as like a base, skin tone, like a makeup base. I'm just going to add a little bit of that medium inside that, and that will just make it really creamy and not too watery, because I don't want it to be too watery, but I don't want it to leave peaks. So I'm just going to do the face in just a solid skin tone. This would be a fun one to do, like if you have people in your life, you just kind of get their caricaturistics into a caricature. That's what I mean. Their image into a caricature. Whatever, I can't say that today. Help. It's funny. But what you do is you just find, whatever their hair color is, length, haircut, or hairstyle, and then, you just get features that are really basic. For if you wanted to do a man's stick, they have a mustache, you could make a mustache. Whatever, they're just something that is a signature that will make you think that it's just enough that you will be able to recognize who it is without it being a total likeness. So I'm just going to go inside my little lines. Now, if I kind of go out the line, which I did on this, I can always go back with my marker and touch up and just to kind of make it more clean, but this is just a good way to start. So now I've got that, and I might have to do a second coat on that one because I did paint over a dark color. Now I'm not going to make this color. This normally to make the legs, I would draw the legs and then I would use the same skin tone to make the legs. But today I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to just let that sit for a bit. It needs to have another coat. And then I'm going to do a color, something other than than that skin color. I'm going to do a little green color. For some reason, this one hadn't opened yet. I'm just going to put it on my this really pretty color here. I like that color. It's kind of this one's called Ocean Breeze. So I'm just going to put that on. And this one seems to have enough, it's thick, it's just the right consistency. I'm just going to paint it onto my little, I think the mermaid tail needs to be a little bit wider too. So I'm going to fix that. That's what's great about these. It's like a surface to paint on, so it's okay. If you don't like a certain shape that you've done, you can always change it. Cover it up and then go over it again with your marker. So I'm just going to widen this a little bit. since I'm constrained with the stick is kind of gives me a narrow place to work, it's a little bit, I'm just going to kind of bring it out like this. I have to kind of give the illusion because the tails are supposed to be really big. There we go. Yeah, that looks more the right proportion for me. I'm just going to let that sit, and then if I need to do another coat because I see the black line kind of wants to peek through, I'll go ahead and do another coat. So if I want to do hair, let's say, oh, dark brown, or, and this one's called chestnut. So we've got some dark brown, and I might mix it with a little black just to make it a little darker. I'll rinse out all that blue, and I'll just go ahead and mix up a kind of a combination of color. Now I'm just going to take that and just paint in the hair, and I'm just going to bring it all the way through, right there. I have the one that I did, I kind of did a character of myself, and if it had a caricature, and it has light up shoes. So you can just have so much fun with these. And it made me think of my friends and how much fun we've had together and how much fun we will continue to have together. There we go. So there's the hair. And you can see how I can just go and go and go with these, right? And I'll continue. I don't know if you want me to, let me know, chime in if you want me to continue painting, or if you want me to just show you a couple more things about the, just let me know what you think. You can tell me right now if you want me to keep painting, because I can sit here and paint for hours. Or you can say, Karen, move on. We want to see something else. Right now, I'm just going to do that second coat on the face. It'd be fun to just bring that little split in the bang a little bit. Then I'll be ready to put on the face. Now the face is really easy. I just do a simple, once that dries, I'll just make a simple with the marker. I use the marker for that. And this one, I think, is going to add a little white. Let's see if I can grab some white. I have this really neat, one of those carts from IKEA that I keep all my paints on. And I roll it right next to me so I can pick any color I want. This one, I'm just going to take that white and add that blue that I used for the tail. I'm just going to add some white to it, just to give it some kind of some change in color. And this would be fun to do some iridescent, maybe take some iridescent paint and play with that too. So you can just see how you can make these as free as you want, as painterly as you want, or as unpainterly. You don't have to, you can just do it any way you want. I have a cat that's hungry. She's yelling at me. So here, and I'm trying to remember how these go, but I'm just going to kind of make little scales. Just kind of loose. And then maybe on the tail, just be a little bit more loose there. So I'm just going to let that sit for a bit. And I wanted to tell you why that's sitting, because I need to, before I do the next thing, I need to let that dry a little bit. So what I did, I want to let you know how you bend. These sticks, I actually bent them. And so I'm getting, now this one, I'm going to paint, I'll make a bracelet out of it. But it's the same stick. And what I did is I put them in water and I boiled them for about 15 minutes. And then after I boiled them, I took them out of the pot really fast, because you don't want to have it, if you wait too long, they get stiff again. But then I bent the stick. I just kept bending it. And in this one, I clipped it with something like this while it was drying. So, and then I dried it overnight. Now with this one that's got a different kind of curve, this one I put in this cup. When it was still hot, warm, and wet, I kind of have to work the wood, because doesn't bend that easily. But once it does, then you just stick it in a cup. And if you want it smaller, you can actually wrap it around something that's a little smaller and just put some rubber bands around it and let it dry overnight. And then it stays permanently like that. So that's a fun thing to do too, if you want to make little bracelets. And they're really nice and firm. And I've already gessoed this one. This one I have not primed, so it needs to be primed. But this one, if I wanted to, I think this one would be fun to paint and put some doodles on. Here I started this one. I painted it pearl white, and then I just put some washi tape on top. Just one strand. But what's fun about this is I can keep changing. Let's say here's my base bracelet, and I just decide I think I want to change it up a little. So I can actually put tape on it like this. In any way I want, I can make a whole new bracelet just by changing the tape. And you can remove it as long as you don't varnish it. If you varnish it, then yes, you won't be able to remove it. But if you varnish it, which I want to tell you about, so you can just put this along all of the, I like that polka dot with the gold. So I'll just go ahead and put some of those on, make a striped one. You can just play and have so much fun with these. And with the gold base, with the white base, I could leave it like this, or I can also put, let's say if I wanted to add more gold, I can put some gold across, all the way across. There's just all kinds of things you can do. You can tear it, you can make a collage on it. There we go. So something like that would make it a really fancy looking. So there's all kinds of things that you can do with this. And if you don't like it, you can always remove it. The washi tape won't damage the surface, the painted surface. So I'll just, change my mind and I'll maybe use that other tape for something else. Or I'll decide what I want to do with this. And of course, I'll post it up on the blog. But that is so much fun. I've got some tape here that would look really cool just to cover the whole thing. I can actually cover the whole thing and have a totally different look. So it's like instant collage, and it goes on very smooth. And so I could actually take this and trim around it, around the sides with my scissors, and I could make a nice clean edge. And then once I really know I want that, then I can varnish it right on with, you can use Mod Podge will do it, or one of these, like this Deco Art satin varnish, that works. One thing though, some washi tapes have a waxy kind of a coating. So what you need to do, if your varnish wants to bead up on it, one of my tapes did that, and the way to solve that was I put a little bit of the clear gesso on it, just a little bit. You can do that even with just the Mod Podge. This stuff would work, or just plain Mod Podge would work. And the reason this varnish beaded up, it was just too much because it's polyurethane. For some reason, it just was a little bit, it just wasn't going to grab onto the washi tape until I put something under it. So that's kind of what happened there. All right, so now I'm ready to make my little face here on this mermaid. And then I'll show you how I draw over it. So she's still, it's not perfect. I still see a little bit of blue under that. So maybe I should go ahead and do a slight, just another round, just to give it one more coat so that so there's no blue on the face. And a little bit back here under the neck. Okay, I'll leave it like that. And then I'll just show you to detail. Let's say you want to take your pen. See, this one's in a 7. This is a little bit thicker writing, and that's actually what I use to make my lettering. Is a little bit thicker. But these are nice and fine. So to make details on this in areas where I want to just kind of accent that line, I'll just go back over the original line that I did. And if you feel that you don't feel confident enough to do with a pen to begin with, you can always use a pencil to make your first line marks. Your first, when you're drawing out your image, you can just start with a pencil, make a very light touch with the pencil, and then use your marker to make the lines permanent. So that's kind of how I think that should go. And then I'm just going to take this and just draw lines kind of like up like this. So the black kind of does really nice, kind of gives it a nice, more finished look. And I might do that with the scales and I might not. I'll decide that later. And this, I'm not ready to do this yet. You can also add buttons and little elements if you want. I've used my little dotting tools to take paint and make little buttons. You can make eyes with these little dots, and I won't do it on her yet because she's, but I'll just show you on this part here. So let's say I want to make just eyes. I can just take my little stylus and I can make a dot and then make a second dot, and that's it. That's all you need to do. So there's really, you don't have to worry about knowing how to draw an eye or to draw a face to do this. I think with this, while I'm waiting for that to dry, just going to take a little highlighting, bring in some blue again, lighter color, just lightening the blue that I used on the tail. And I'm just going to kind of go in and highlight some areas. And I think I added way too much water on that, so I'm just going to take that off a little bit and mix some color because it was just too much water. So you want these paints to be fairly, not too thinned out. And I'm using a pretty fine tip brush. I don't think I want to use a brush that's big because I like the little details since it is a small stick. Just little highlights to I'm also camouflaging my little lines that I first put on there. Those first black lines, there we go. And the same thing, I can add more highlights on these little lines that I did. And each layer I put on gives it a little more dimension. You can see that kind of disappeared into the other. So now I'm ready to do my eyes. You can do the eyes with a marker or you can do them with a paintbrush. So I'm just gonna, or like I said, with one of these, and I'm just gonna do it with one of these this time, with these little stylus tip. I'm just gonna put an eye right here and an eye here. Hopefully I'll get them similar in size, and because I didn't, I'm gonna make that one a little bigger. There we are. So that's the eyes, and then simple, I will make a small mouth, something really small, like maybe a pink, something just pink. I probably put way too much pink there. just for the little tiny lips that I'm going to do. But just a little tiny, it could be a smile. It could be just a little, like for me, I think I'm going to make a little smile, maybe slight lip shape. And that's it. And I could take that and highlight it with the pen. So, and that when I do the lettering, so I've got my pen here, and I'm just going to take the name, and I'm just going to put the name right here. You can just do it any way you want, whatever style of lettering that you want. And then this one, I'm just going to put like a little dot on either side. And then just kind of thicken the sides, make it's like a faux calligraphy style. You would just thicken one side of it, and it makes it look more dimensional. Here we go. And then after this is done, and I'll play with it a little bit more, I will varnish it with this on both sides. And I could add buttons, but I think if I want to use it as a bookmark, I wouldn't add dimension, because it would be hard to slide it into the thing. So there are our garden friends, or our bookmark friends, and we can open up just to talk a little bit. And if you have questions, please, I am here for you. And for me, my little caricature, because these are caricatures, this is mine, and what that is, I wear light up shoes, and dance in them, so that's my light up shoes. And yeah. And then I think on the back, on one of this lady, she's the one that she's a friend of mine going through her cancer, and her husband also was diagnosed. And on the back, life is better with friends. And then I just put a little miss you with a little wine glass, because that's how we met. We met dancing, and so this is a fun thing to do. And like if you have kids, grandkids, you can make each one their own little caricature, and you can put them in your garden or in a flower pot, or just give them away, and they'll go in the mail really quickly. You can have a party, see?
Nice.
It's a party, and we can dance.
Oh,